Assalamu alaikum, dear brother and sister. Today we dive into a fascinating area of study that has captivated the minds and hearts of many in recent years. This phenomenon, often called the mathematical code of the Quran, has sparked significant curiosity among believers, scholars, scientists, and even skeptics, each seeking to understand this divine revelation in a deeper, more nuanced way. In an age of technology and scientific inquiry, the discovery of intricate mathematical patterns within the Quran has led many to wonder, is there more to these sacred words than initially meets the eye? Could this text, revealed over 1400 years ago, contain a complex numerical code that not only reveals its divine authorship but also showcases the perfection and order of Allah's creation? For centuries, Muslims have held an unwavering belief that the Quran is a miraculous book, divinely revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as a guidance for humanity. Its linguistic beauty, profound teachings, and timeless relevance have been recognized by Muslims and respected by many non-Muslim scholars alike. However, the idea that the Quran may contain a hidden mathematical structure has opened a new frontier for understanding and appreciating this sacred text. This discovery has not only caught the attention of believers, but has also intrigued scientists, mathematicians, and researchers who approach the Quran with curiosity, eager to explore what they see as possible evidence of a meticulously calculated structure within its verses. One of the most fascinating aspects of this mathematical exploration is the notion of patterns in the Quran. These patterns are believed to reflect not only divine perfection, but also the intentional design that only an omniscient creator could weave into his revelation. The Quran, therefore, becomes more than just a book of guidance and wisdom. It is seen as a profound tapestry, meticulously woven with intricate layers of meaning, purpose, and order. The idea that there is an underlying code or mathematical sequence within the Quran suggests that each verse, each word, and even each letter may hold a specific place and purpose. This revelation has led to the belief that these patterns are far from random or coincidental, but are instead a testament to the divine nature of the Quran and an expression of Allah's unmatched power, knowledge, and wisdom. Among the various numbers discussed, the number 19 has emerged as especially significant. This number appears so consistently across multiple elements of the Quran that many believe it holds a unique status, possibly serving as a key to unlock the Quran's hidden mathematical code. For those who believe in this phenomenon, the number 19 is seen as a divine signature, a marker of Allah's supreme knowledge and precision. The number 19, they argue, goes beyond mere numerology and serves as a reminder of Allah's presence within the very structure of the Quran. It is not just a number, but a symbol of the divine order embedded within the verses. Each occurrence of this number, whether in the arrangement of words, verses, or chapters, is viewed as an intentional act of Allah, underscoring His infinite wisdom and control over all things. The fascination with the number 19 has spurred extensive studies, detailed analyses, and passionate discussions within the Muslim community and beyond. Some researchers argue that it reflects an intelligent design that reveals the Quran's mathematical coherence, while others caution against overemphasizing numerology at the expense of the Quran's core teachings. Nevertheless, the study of this code has undeniably opened a unique door to understanding the Quran, allowing believers to see it in a new light, not just as a spiritual guide, but as a marvel of divine precision. By examining the Quran through this lens, many have found a renewed sense of awe and reverence, marveling at how the divine message is perfectly preserved, not only in words, but in numerical patterns that remain consistent and harmonious. This mathematical journey into the Quran took a particularly groundbreaking turn in the late 20th century when an Egyptian biochemist named Rashad Khalifa became one of the most vocal proponents of the number 19 phenomenon. His research has left a lasting impact on the field, sparking both enthusiasm and controversy within the Islamic world. Rashad Khalifa, a scientist by training, was not only passionate about the Quran, but also deeply intrigued by the potential numerical structures that could be present within its text. With a scientific approach, he embarked on a meticulous study of the Quran, hoping to discover patterns that could provide new insights into its composition. Khalifa's work was inspired by his desire to bridge faith with science, using the tools of modern statistical analysis to explore the depths of the Quran in ways previously unimaginable. Through his studies, Khalifa claimed to uncover evidence that the number 19 plays a central role in the structural composition of the Quran. According to him, this number was not merely an incidental occurrence, but was woven throughout the text in ways that indicated a deliberate, divinely guided design. Khalifa's research suggested that the number 19 was embedded in various layers of the Quran's structure. In the number of letters in specific words, the arrangement of verses, and even the composition of certain chapters. He argued that this consistent recurrence of the number 19 was no coincidence, but rather an example of Allah's omnipotence, showcasing a level of order and precision that could not have been achieved by human hands. One of the primary examples Khalifa cited was the Basmalah, the phrase Bismillahir-Rahman-Ir-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, which begins every chapter of the Quran except one. He observed that this phrase contains exactly 19 Arabic letters, a fact that he argued was an intentional design, symbolizing the divine foundation upon which the Quran is built. This was not the only example he provided. In fact, Khalifa claimed that multiple elements within the Quran could be divided or multiplied by the number 19, showing a level of internal consistency that defied ordinary explanation. Another example Khalifa highlighted was the total number of chapters in the Quran, which is 114, a number that is also a multiple of 19 x 6 114. For Khalifa and his supporters, this was further proof that the Quran was constructed with a mathematical code at its core, one that could be expressed through the recurring appearance of the number 19. He also studied the mysterious letters known as muqatta'at, which appear at the beginning of certain chapters and have long puzzled scholars. Khalifa suggested that these letters too followed the number 19 pattern, arguing that their occurrence across various chapters fit into the numerical framework he had uncovered. Khalifa's findings have been met with mixed reactions. While some believers see his research as an affirmation of the Quran's divine origin, others remain cautious, concerned that focusing too heavily on numbers could detract from the Quran's spiritual message. Nevertheless, his work has undeniably fueled a renewed interest in Quranic numerology, inspiring countless others to explore the Quran through mathematical and statistical analysis. One of the most fascinating aspects of this mathematical pattern in the Quran is how the number 19 is explicitly referenced within the Quranic text itself, which has sparked even greater interest and validation for those who study it. Surah Al-Muddathir, verse 30 says, "Over it are 19 angels," in reference to the guardians over hell. This explicit mention of the number 19 has led many to believe that the Quran was directing readers to look closer, to ponder the deeper implications of this number within the scripture. For those intrigued by this idea, this verse became a foundational starting point for a much broader investigation into how this number might play a significant role in the structural and mathematical layout of the Quran. It is as if this verse was a divine clue, a hint left by Allah to inspire generations to delve into the mathematical intricacies of His word. The number 19, referenced directly within the scripture, has not only spurred curiosity, but also a wave of enthusiasm among those who view it as a symbol of divine order. The believers in the code argue that this reference is no coincidence. Instead, they see it as an intentional reminder from Allah that His creation is both purposeful and meticulously ordered. According to their perspective, by embedding this number within the text, Allah invites humanity to witness yet another dimension of His omnipotence. The reference to 19 as the number of angels guarding hell adds a layer of theological depth to its significance. Some scholars who support this theory interpret the 19 angels as a symbol of protection, vigilance, and divine order, where each angel reflects Allah's oversight and precision. This adds to the perception of the number 19 as a marker of perfection, symmetry, and divine intention. The allure of the number 19 does not end with this verse, however. As scholars and researchers began investigating further, they started to observe patterns linked to the number 19 in various elements of the Quran. This includes the arrangement of verses, the number of letters and key phrases, and the structure of chapters, all of which seem to align with a pattern centered on 19. The beauty of this phenomenon lies in its complexity and subtlety, as it does not impose itself upon the reader, but instead invites those with inquisitive minds to explore further, to uncover layer after layer of intricate design hidden within the text. The recurring theme of 19 has thus become, for some, a representation of Allah's mastery over creation, not only in the world around us, but within the pages of the Quran itself. This mathematical journey takes on an even more intriguing dimension when examining specific phrases and structures within the Quran, which seem to reflect this numerical harmony. One such example is the phrase, Bismillahir-Rahman-Ir-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, also known as the Basmalah, which opens every surah except for one. This phrase holds a special place in the hearts of Muslims as it is frequently recited in daily life, reflecting their constant remembrance of Allah's mercy and compassion. What has drawn particular attention to the Basmala in the context of this code is the observation that it contains exactly 19 letters in Arabic. This detail, seemingly minor at first glance, takes on profound significance within the framework of the Code 19 phenomenon. For those who believe in the mathematical code within the Quran, the Basmala's composition is not merely coincidental, but is seen as further evidence of divine design. The fact that the phrase Muslims recite at the beginning of every surah contains exactly 19 letters is interpreted as a deliberate choice by Allah, a way to mark the opening of each surah with a mathematical imprint of His presence. This phrase, repeated countless times by believers, thus becomes not only a reminder of Allah's mercy, but also a subtle reminder of the Quran's deeper, perhaps hidden, layers. Some scholars who explore the mathematical structure of the Quran view this as an invitation to reflect on Allah's attributes, each of which is expressed with intentionality and precision. Through the Basmala, they see a glimpse of Allah's order in the universe, suggesting that everything from the smallest letter to the grandest cosmic event is subject to His wisdom and meticulous design. Another compelling example lies in the very structure of the Quran. The Quran comprises 114 surahs, a number that, when divided by 19, yields a whole number, 6. This alignment with the number 19 has intrigued researchers who view it as further proof of a mathematically inspired structure within the Holy Book. According to proponents of the code, the total number of surahs, 114, is not an arbitrary figure, but rather a divinely chosen number that adheres to the Quran's hidden mathematical framework. By demonstrating that the number of surahs is a multiple of 19, they argue that this serves as another indication of the Quran's structural harmony and divine authorship. To believers in this code, it suggests that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, intended every part of the Quran to follow a specific design, highlighting not only the literary beauty, but also a mathematical symmetry that transcends human capability. Supporters of the code argue that the Quran's structure is meticulously designed down to the level of individual letters. One of the most mysterious and intriguing aspects of the Quran is the set of isolated letters known as the muqatta'at, which appear at the beginning of certain surahs. These letters, such as alif, lam, mim, have long been a source of curiosity and speculation among Islamic scholars who have debated their meaning for centuries. While their true meaning remains known only to Allah, those who advocate for the Code 19 phenomenon see in these letters a numerical pattern that points back to the code. According to their research, the frequency of certain muqatta'at letters in some surahs aligns with multiples of 19, further reinforcing their belief that these letters serve not only a symbolic purpose, but also a mathematical one. The presence of the number 19 in these muqatta'at letters is seen by proponents as an affirmation of the Quran's divine precision. They argue that each letter, carefully placed at the beginning of specific surahs, contributes to the mathematical framework that underpins the Quran's structure. For them, the muqatta'at letters are a testament to the Quran's unique composition, where even the most seemingly obscure elements serve a purpose in the grand design of Allah's word. This has inspired believers to explore these letters with a renewed sense of awe, seeing in them a glimpse of Allah's intricate planning and wisdom. The numerical consistency observed in the muqatta'at letters, according to these scholars, is an additional layer of meaning within the Quran, one that reflects Allah's infinite knowledge and the harmonious structure of His revelation. The theological significance of the number 19 extends beyond its numerical value, taking on symbolic meanings within the realm of Islamic thought. Many proponents of this theory argue that the number 19 represents unity, balance, and divine order. In traditional Islamic numerology, certain numbers are believed to hold symbolic meanings, and the number 19 is seen by some as a representation of Allah's oneness and the inimitability of His revelation. From this perspective, the number 19 is not just a number, but a concept that reflects the perfection of Allah's creation and His ultimate control over all things. By embedding the number within the Quran structure, Allah, they argue, is inviting humanity to witness His perfection through a mathematical lens. This perspective views the number 19 as a symbol of Allah's sovereignty, unity, and the divine harmony that exists in the universe. For believers in the code, this mathematical aspect is seen as a miraculous dimension of the Quran that offers a unique way to connect with Allah's message. They argue that the presence of such a structure reveals the Quran as a book of infinite wisdom, where every word, letter, and number is part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. By studying the number 19, they find a renewed appreciation for the Quran, experiencing it not just as a guide but as a testament to Allah's magnificence and knowledge. They see this numerical pattern as a means of deepening their faith, as it underscores the belief that Allah's word is perfect, complete, and beyond human ability to replicate. The theological significance of the number 19 thus becomes an additional layer of reflection, prompting believers to marvel at Allah's wisdom in ways they may not have considered before. This mathematical dimension, for those who accept it, serves as both a reminder and a reassurance. It is a reminder of the Quran's timeless relevance and an invitation to explore its mysteries with awe and reverence. It reassures believers that, in a world full of uncertainties, Allah's guidance remains constant, intricate, and meticulously designed. For some, the discovery of the mathematical patterns within the Quran, specifically revolving around the number 19, has strengthened their connection to the text, encouraging them to approach it with fresh curiosity and appreciation. This phenomenon has allowed them to see the Quran not just as a collection of verses, but as a divine code that contains layers of meaning, some of which may only be fully understood through the lens of numbers. For these believers, every recurrence of the number 19 becomes a moment of reflection, a reminder that Allah's wisdom is present even in the smallest details, and that His word, like His creation, is both profound and precise. The mathematical code involving the number 19 has not only captivated some believers, but also brought a fair share of criticism and skepticism from various scholars and researchers, especially among traditional Islamic scholars and academics. While the idea of numerical patterns within the Quran is intriguing, many within the scholarly community argue that focusing too heavily on numerical codes might lead to misinterpretation of the Quran's spiritual essence. These scholars emphasize that the Quran's primary purpose is to provide moral guidance, foster a relationship with Allah, and deliver ethical teachings that benefit humanity. They worry that becoming too absorbed in numbers and patterns may distract from the true messages of faith, worship, and spiritual growth. This skepticism is rooted in a deep respect for the Quran's timeless teachings and a concern that its message might be overshadowed by a fascination with numerology. For these scholars, the miracle of the Quran lies in its profound wisdom, moral teachings, and the unparalleled beauty of its language rather than hidden mathematical codes. They argue that the Quran's ability to touch hearts, transform lives, and guide humanity toward righteousness is itself a miracle that doesn't require additional numerical validation. According to their perspective, viewing the Quran through the lens of complex numerical patterns could detract from its spiritual and ethical impact. They believe that focusing on numbers might even risk diluting the universal and direct messages that the Quran imparts to believers, such as the importance of prayer, compassion, charity, and a life centered around the worship of Allah. Additionally, some scholars caution that an overemphasis on numerology might inadvertently lead to a reductionist approach to the Quran. They argue that the Quran is not merely a code to be deciphered, but a living text meant to be recited, pondered, and implemented in daily life. Its verses contain layers of wisdom that are intended to inspire reflection, moral discipline, and spiritual growth. By centering one's attention on mathematical interpretations, there is a risk of overlooking the depth and diversity of the Quran's teachings. For traditional scholars, the real miracle of the Quran lies in its eloquence, the timeless nature of its message, and its ability to guide people toward a path of virtue and divine closeness. They believe that these qualities are what set the Quran apart, making it a source of light and guidance that is as relevant today as it was when it was first revealed. In addition to theological concerns, the methodological approach of Rashad Khalifa and other proponents of the Code 19 phenomenon has also been questioned by academics and researchers. Many critics argue that the methods used to discover these numerical patterns are not always consistent or scientifically rigorous. Some of the techniques employed involve subjective interpretations, where certain elements of the Quran are highlighted to support the code, while others that do not fit the pattern may be overlooked or discounted. This selective approach to data can lead to biased conclusions, which is a concern shared by many in the academic field. Critics argue that true scientific rigor requires a consistent methodology that is objective and reproducible, qualities they feel are sometimes lacking in the studies on Code 19. Another issue that has been raised is the variability in Quranic manuscripts, which could impact numerical analyses. Over the centuries, slight variations in script, dialect, or punctuation have appeared in different versions of the Quranic text. Although these differences do not affect the Quran's core message, they could potentially influence numerical calculations, depending on the methodology used. This raises questions about the reliability of a numerology-based interpretation, as slight textual variations could lead to inconsistencies in the patterns observed. Some scholars argue that this variability is a natural result of the Quran's preservation through different regions and dialects, and should not be used as a basis for deriving mathematical codes. Critics also note that, in many cases, proponents of the Code 19 phenomenon may rely on what is known as confirmation bias, focusing only on results that support the theory while disregarding data that does not fit. This selective interpretation can lead to skewed conclusions that may not accurately reflect the Quran's structure as a whole. For instance, while it is true that some elements of the Quran align with the number 19, this alone may not be sufficient to prove the existence of a deliberate mathematical code. Critics argue that, if the theory were universally valid, the number 19 pattern would need to appear consistently across all elements of the Quran in a way that could not be explained by chance. Since this is not always the case, they caution against viewing selective patterns as definitive proof of a hidden code. Despite these criticisms, the Code 19 phenomenon has undeniably opened a fascinating area of discussion about how modern scientific tools can be used to study the Quran. This phenomenon has inspired a broader conversation within the Muslim community and beyond, prompting believers to explore the Quran with renewed curiosity and an openness to different perspectives. By examining the Quran through the lens of modern scientific approaches, such as statistical and mathematical analysis, the study of the Code 19 phenomenon has encouraged Muslims to engage with their sacred text in ways that were previously uncommon. This fusion of science and faith has brought about a unique opportunity for dialogue, as believers explore new ways of connecting with the Quran's teachings and seeing the depth of Allah's wisdom in yet another light. For many supporters of the Code 19 phenomenon, this numerical exploration represents a journey of discovery that enriches their understanding of the Quran. They see it as an opportunity to witness the Quran's miracles through a modern lens, bringing together the spiritual and the scientific in a way that reaffirms their faith. In an era where science and faith are often seen as opposing forces, the study of numerical patterns in the Quran provides a bridge, showing that both can coexist harmoniously. For these believers, the Code 19 phenomenon is not only a sign of Allah's meticulous design, but also a reminder of the Quran's relevance in an age of scientific advancement. They view it as a testament to the Quran's timelessness, seeing it as a text that not only offers spiritual guidance, but also invites intellectual exploration. This phenomenon has also inspired some Muslims to take a more interdisciplinary approach to studying the Quran, using modern tools such as computer algorithms, statistical software, and data analysis to uncover new insights. This method of study has allowed believers to engage with the Quran in innovative ways, discovering layers of meaning that may not be immediately apparent through traditional forms of exegesis. By exploring the Quran with these new tools, believers find themselves in awe of how the sacred text continues to reveal its depth, demonstrating its ability to inspire and engage minds across generations. This new layer of study complements traditional interpretations, offering believers yet another dimension of Allah's wisdom to contemplate and appreciate. The significance of the number 19 goes beyond its mathematical intrigue for those who support the code theory. Many proponents see it as a symbol of divine unity, balance, and order, qualities that are deeply embedded in Islamic theology. In numerological traditions, numbers are often assigned symbolic meanings, and the number 19 has been interpreted by some as a representation of Allah's oneness and His unbreakable bond with creation. For these believers, the recurrence of the number 19 in the Quran is not merely a mathematical coincidence, but a symbol of the divine harmony that governs the universe. They see it as a reminder of Allah's sovereignty, an affirmation that His word is meticulously crafted and that every aspect of the Quran, down to the smallest detail, is a reflection of His infinite wisdom. This symbolic interpretation of the number 19 also ties into the broader Islamic understanding of the Quran as a miraculous text. By highlighting the number 19, proponents argue that Allah has given believers a way to see His perfection not only in the content of the Quran, but also in its structure. They believe that this number is woven into the Quran in such a way that it serves as a hidden testimony to Allah's grandeur and the Quran's divine origin. For these believers, every instance of the number 19 becomes an occasion for reflection, a reminder of Allah's omnipresence and His mastery over all things. The discovery of such patterns strengthens their conviction that the Quran is truly unique, a text that could only be authored by the Creator of all. The fascination with the number 19 has thus evolved into a form of devotional study for many believers, who see it as a way to connect more deeply with the Quran and to uncover new dimensions of its miraculous nature. They find themselves drawn into a journey that combines faith with intellectual curiosity, exploring the Quran with the same reverence that earlier generations brought to traditional study. For them, the study of numerical patterns is not a distraction, but an enhancement of their faith, a way to witness the Quran's layers of meaning in a way that resonates with the modern world. This approach allows them to experience the Quran as a living miracle, one that continues to reveal its secrets and inspire believers with its timeless wisdom and divine precision. The exploration of Code 19 has ultimately expanded the way believers engage with the Quran, offering them a new perspective on its message and structure. Whether one fully accepts or remains skeptical of the theory, there is no doubt that the phenomenon has encouraged Muslims to think about the Quran in dynamic ways, inspiring a renewed appreciation for its depth and complexity. The idea that there may be hidden mathematical dimensions within the Quran serves as a reminder that Allah's wisdom is boundless, encompassing both the seen and the unseen. For those who find faith in the study of these patterns, it is a journey that brings them closer to the divine, filling them with awe and gratitude for the Creator who has left his signature in every word, letter, and number within the sacred text. The study of Code 19 has opened doors for broader discussions about how to interpret and understand the Quran in a modern context, prompting new conversations among believers, researchers, and scholars alike. For those who view this mathematical pattern as a divine feature of the Quran, it represents a paradigm shift in how we can explore sacred texts through the lens of scientific inquiry. Historically, the Quran has been approached from theological, historical, and linguistic perspectives, each adding a unique layer of insight into its profound teachings. However, the exploration of mathematical patterns, particularly the number 19, has introduced a new dimension, suggesting that Allah's wisdom could be encoded in ways that align with our growing understanding of mathematics and statistics. This emerging field of study reflects the Quran's adaptability and timelessness, showing that it can continue to inspire and reveal new meanings even in an era dominated by technology and science. In a time when data analysis and computational tools are reshaping various fields, the concept of studying the Quran through numerical patterns resonates with believers seeking to bridge their faith with scientific advancements. For these individuals, the Quran's engagement with mathematics demonstrates that faith and reason are not opposing forces, but complementary paths that lead to a deeper understanding of Allah's creation. This approach provides an avenue for those who seek intellectual rigor in their spiritual journey, allowing them to appreciate the Quran in a way that aligns with modern analytical thinking. The application of scientific tools, such as statistical software and computational models, to study the Quran represents an unprecedented approach to Islamic scholarship. This methodology not only allows researchers to explore possible mathematical structures within the text, but also encourages a multidisciplinary approach that integrates faith with science. Some believers see this as an opportunity to validate the Quran's divine origin in a manner that speaks to the contemporary world, providing tangible evidence that reinforces their faith. The use of technology to analyze the Quran's structure adds a layer of objectivity to the study, allowing believers to explore the text with tools that are traditionally associated with empirical research. This has given rise to a unique form of Quranic engagement, where the divine message is examined with the same precision and attention to detail that one might apply in a scientific experiment. For proponents of the Code 19 theory, this exploration has not only enriched their understanding of the Quran, but also deepened their connection to Allah. The realization that the Quran might contain a meticulously calculated structure down to specific numbers and patterns is awe-inspiring for these believers. They feel that, in addition to guiding humanity with moral and spiritual teachings, the Quran also offers a glimpse into the infinite knowledge of its creator, revealing a complexity that transcends human understanding. Every pattern or calculation that aligns with the number 19 becomes a moment of spiritual reflection, a reminder of Allah's boundless wisdom and the depth of his revelation. For those who embrace this perspective, the mathematical dimension of the Quran does not replace traditional interpretations, but rather enhances them, providing an additional layer of meaning that reinforces their belief in the Quran's perfection. This intellectual journey is, for many, as much an act of worship as it is a study of numbers. By examining the Quran's structure, they feel they are engaging with Allah's word in a profound and meaningful way, seeing His signature not only in the words, but in the hidden structures beneath them. The recurring appearance of the number 19 in various aspects of the Quran has, for these believers, become a source of inspiration and wonder. It serves as a reminder that Allah's knowledge is both vast and precise, encompassing realms of understanding that humanity is only beginning to grasp. For them, the study of Code 19 is a means of drawing closer to Allah, deepening their appreciation for the Quran and the miraculous nature of its revelation. In addition to inspiring personal reflection, the phenomenon of Code 19 has also sparked lively discussions within the Muslim community, prompting believers to consider the ways in which they interpret and engage with the Quran. The existence of this mathematical structure, if proven to be intentional, challenges traditional assumptions about the Quran's composition and invites Muslims to view the text from a fresh perspective. For some, this approach reinforces the Quran's relevance in modern times, providing a means of understanding the sacred text that resonates with contemporary sensibilities. The study of numerical patterns introduces an analytical dimension to Quranic study that appeals to believers who find value in logic, precision, and structured thinking, allowing them to appreciate the Quran as a text that is not only spiritually enriching, but also intellectually stimulating. Yet, even for those who may remain skeptical of the Code 19 theory, the phenomenon has undeniably contributed to a broader appreciation for the Quran's intricacies. Whether or not one fully accepts the mathematical interpretations, the study of Code 19 serves as a reminder of the Quran's depth and the endless possibilities it holds for discovery. It encourages believers to approach the Quran with curiosity and humility, recognizing that there may be dimensions of meaning yet to be uncovered. This exploration highlights the Quran's ability to continually reveal itself in new ways, demonstrating its timelessness and relevance in every age. For many, this realization serves as a call to reflect more deeply on the Quran's message, to approach it not only as a book of rules and stories, but as a living miracle that offers guidance, wisdom, and mystery. The study of Code 19 has also generated discussions about the nature of divine revelation and the ways in which Allah communicates His wisdom to humanity. The possibility that the Quran contains a hidden mathematical structure prompts believers to consider the Quran not only as a text of words, but as a text of patterns, where each letter, verse, and chapter is meticulously placed with purpose. This perspective aligns with the Islamic understanding of Allah as the ultimate planner, whose knowledge encompasses all things. By embedding mathematical patterns within the Quran, Allah could be providing humanity with yet another way to appreciate His mastery over creation, inviting believers to marvel at the depth of His wisdom. The phenomenon of Code 19 has therefore opened up a unique dialogue between tradition and modernity, where believers can explore the Quran with both reverence and analytical curiosity. This approach allows them to see the Quran as a book that transcends time, offering insights that are as relevant to a 21st century scientist as they were to a 7th century believer. The fusion of faith with scientific inquiry creates a holistic approach to Quranic study, where believers can engage with the text on multiple levels, experiencing it as both a source of spiritual guidance and a text that invites intellectual exploration. For those who embrace this approach, the study of Code 19 is not only an academic exercise, but a journey of discovery, one that brings them closer to understanding Allah's infinite wisdom. As believers continue to explore the implications of Code 19, they are reminded of the Quran's miraculous nature and the limitless layers of meaning it holds. The mathematical patterns within the Quran, if indeed intentional, suggest that there are aspects of divine knowledge that humanity is only beginning to uncover. This realization serves as an invitation to approach the Quran with humility, recognizing that Allah's wisdom is beyond human comprehension. For many, the study of Code 19 becomes a means of reconnecting with the Quran, encouraging them to read it with renewed enthusiasm and a deeper appreciation for its mysteries. Ultimately, The phenomenon of Code 19 highlights the Quran's role as a text that transcends conventional boundaries, offering guidance not only for the soul but for the mind as well. Whether one fully accepts the theory or remains skeptical, the exploration of numerical patterns within the Quran serves as a reminder of its unparalleled depth and the infinite possibilities it holds for discovery. For believers, the study of Code 19 is an invitation to ponder Allah's creation, to reflect on His boundless knowledge, and to marvel at the ways in which He reveals Himself through the Quran. It is a journey that enriches both faith and intellect, deepening one's connection to the divine and inspiring a sense of wonder at the intricacy of Allah's word. The impact of Code 19 on the Muslim community extends beyond intellectual curiosity, as it has encouraged believers to see the Quran not just as a book to be read, but as a living document that continues to reveal itself in new and profound ways. This phenomenon has instilled a renewed sense of awe and reverence for the Quran, reminding believers that it is a text of boundless wisdom, one that holds secrets that may only be understood through diligent study and reflection. For many, the discovery of Code 19 has transformed their relationship with the Quran, allowing them to experience it as both a source of spiritual guidance and a text that challenges and engages their intellect. As believers reflect on the possibilities that Code 19 presents, they are reminded of the Quran's central message, that Allah's knowledge is infinite, His wisdom unparalleled, and His creation perfect in every detail. The study of Code 19 invites Muslims to explore the Quran with a sense of wonder and humility, recognizing that Allah's word is a gift that continues to reveal its miracles with every generation. Whether one views the mathematical patterns within the Quran as a miraculous sign or a product of human interpretation, there is no doubt that Code 19 has inspired believers to approach the Quran with renewed enthusiasm and a deeper appreciation for its mysteries. It is a journey that affirms the Quran's place as a living miracle, one that continues to inspire, challenge, and guide humanity across time and space. As we reflect on the mysteries and wisdom embedded within the Quran, it becomes clear that this divine revelation offers layers of insight that continue to inspire awe, curiosity, and faith. Whether we view patterns like Code 19 as a miracle or simply a point of reflection, they remind us of Allah's boundless knowledge and the depth of His word. Let us approach the Quran with both humility and wonder, embracing it as a guide for both our hearts and minds. May Allah grant us understanding and allow His word to light our paths. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.